We're good.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jason Dunn. Welcome to the Christian Music Bros podcast. Today, I am with Brad and Brendan. Guys, thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. You take it from here. I checked out.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're pleasure to have you here. So this is for everyone that's been following along with our journey. This is now our 16th episode today. But if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast and stay in the loop of everything going on. Today, like Jason said, we're here with Jason Dunn, and we're just gonna have talk about his musical journey and everything. Brad, you want to start us off?
Of course, yeah. So Jason, thank you again for joining us here. It definitely feels like you're a legend in front of us because we've both been fans of Hawk Nelson for many years, including the old stuff from the very first album. So, dude, yeah, we just are so thankful you joined us, and yeah, we want to ask about would you say about your musical journey over the years? Because a lot has gone on. Like, you've been there since the very start, and over time, so many music endeavors you've done. So, can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks a million for having me. Like, this was kind of unexpected. Like, no one who wants to interview the guy from Hawk Nelson from like way back in the day. But I appreciate you. Give me some the spotlight here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, I started the band Hawk Nelson when I was in high school, and I was in the band for over a decade. Left, 11 years ago. Can you believe that? I just suddenly felt really old just right there. Yeah, and then I'm now back in Canada where Hawk Nelson started. Currently, I've been working on a project since I left Hawk called Lights Go Down. Not full-time, obviously. I'm a full-time dad and worship director at a church here in Canada. But Lights Go Down is kind of my creative outlet, as well as another project I work on once a year, but called Dunner. Lights Go Down, I've been working on an EP right now that the drums are all finished, and we're in the studio working on it now. So that is my musical journey in a nutshell. And this is me.
So what inspired you to make music? Like when you were younger, like what made you decide you wanted to make music for people?
You know what, man? It's funny. Back when I was a kid, I actually thought I was going to go into medicine. I wanted to be a doctor or a paramedic. And we had a church picnic, me and one of my old buddies were playing that. We were just kind of busking, had an acoustic guitar out for fun. And a car accident happened right in front of the church. And it was nasty. And there was like blood everywhere. And I was like freaking out. And I was like, I do not see myself doing that. So I kind of put the whole paramedic idea on the back burner. And through all of high school, I just played in bands and just loved playing. I was always that awkward guy with the acoustic guitar at a party. I was that guy for sure. And it honestly never left me. It's something I've always been passionate about since I was a kid, as long as I can remember. And I think someone once said, if you can do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And I just kept playing and kept playing and kept playing to the point where I never stopped playing. And well, now I'm 40 and I'm still playing. So haven't found a real job yet, and I'm not complaining.
It's always good to do what you love. Like this is kind of like why we're doing a podcast. Like we both like Christian music and everything. And we're gonna make this podcast. So this is how kind of similar, like you said, like playing music. So this is what we wanted to do. So
easy too, right? Because it's something you're passionate about and you love doing it. So it's not hard to wake up, right?
Exactly. Brad, do you have a question now?
Yeah, I would want to ask about all the Hawk Nelson stuff is incredible. I was listening to it again just recently, and there's so many amazing songs on there. So I want to ask, out of all the old Hawk Nelson albums, which one would you say is your favorite project?
Oh, Letters to the President, hands down. Because we kind of went from a local high school band to suddenly a national act overnight. It happened really fast. So to hear the demos we made, they were okay. We were really super excited about the songs, but then to actually go into a real studio in Seattle, working with a real producer and a real mix engineer, to hear what we had created to come full, oh my gosh, this we were this sounds like a legitimate record. It was amazing. That's something I'll never forget and something I'll never take for granted. And yeah, that whole experience was just something that, just it's my favorite. It's my favorite memory for sure.
Definitely my favorite album from old Hawk Nelson as well. It's just, it rocks.
And it's 20 years old this year. Can you believe that?
Man, wow.
That is nuts.
20 years. So that was came
Don't
out.
tell me how old you were 20 years ago. That'll just make me upset.
I was just thinking out loud. I was like,
Yeah. I was a kid 20 years ago, so
everyone's a kid at heart, though. Remember that. So
that's true.
so we were doing a little research before, like we got together to have you, and you guys had a cameo in the movie Your Mind and Ours with Dennis Quaid and everything. Can you tell us how that came to happen?
Yeah, so we were kind of based out of Nashville. Once we kind of got our career going, we were touring quite a bit. We got invited to do like a music showcase for NBC, the TV network, and we showed up. We were by far the most unprofessional band of everyone that was there. And we drove from Canada all the way down, like 17 hours or whatever it was. And we were just like so excited, like we saw these like guys that were playing for it, or oh, that guy's Keith Urban's guitar player. And we were like freaking out, like for real, like, oh, these guys are legit and we aren't. This is going to be kind of a waste of time, but hey, we're here. Let's just enjoy ourselves. And to be honest with you guys, that was kind of our approach at everything we did for my entire tenure with the band. We just didn't really take it too serious. But it worked, I guess. And we just showed up. And because I don't think we took it too serious, I think the crew that were there to kind of take care of the audition, I think they liked that. They thought it was innocent and cute and like, oh, these young kids from Canada that just came here to have a good time. And they fell in love with us. So they offered us a job or a role for NBC's show American Dreams, which we portrayed The Who on American Bandstand. And so that kind of sprung out the Yours, Mine, and Ours thing from that. And it was just it goes through ways where things in our career happen really, really quick and fast. We're like, whoa, we're getting this, and this opportunity. And then you go for a lull for like a year where nothing happened. You're like, is it done? And then something else would spring up. You're like, oh, this is amazing. We're back. Okay, the band's not breaking up. And then, so that was kind of how we approach it. It was a really cool experience. I've got 3 kids of my own now, and I got to show them. We put the movie on a couple months ago, and I was excited. They didn't care.
So whereabouts in Canada are you guys from?
I live about an hour northeast of Toronto in Peterborough. So we're just, a bit of ways, but close enough. Toronto's our airport.
I went to Toronto when I was like 3, so like that's like the only time I've ever been to Canada. So
Yeah,
that's
it's the big town, the big smoke here.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your new side project that you do on the side? Lights Go Down, I think you said.
Yeah, Lights Go Down. So right when I left Hawk, like I kind of had this idea to do this. I don't know. Like, are you familiar with I was gonna say City and Color? So they're a band out of Ontario, and his name is Dallas Green. He's in the band Alexis on Fire. He left Alexis on Fire and started this little project called City and Color, which is phenomenal. Now, and it actually ended up blowing up pretty big and still going today. But I was like, me knowing I was leaving Hawk Nelson, I wanted something. I knew I needed to do something, and so I had this idea to start like an acoustic project called Lights Go Down, because in my mind, Hawk Nelson was going to continue without me, with the same sound, the same vibe, just with a different story. So I was like, well, I need to keep doing music. I just was kind of, I don't know, I was just jaded and I was broken. I was just, I was going through some stuff. So, but I needed to continue being creative. So Lights Go Down was my creative outlet. And then long story short, fast forward a few months later, Hawk Nelson, the new Hawk, released a new album or a new single or whatever. And I caught wind of it and I was like, whoa, that is way different. And I think that was a consensus by the majority, and it is what it is. And it was their band now. They could do whatever they wanted. So I was like, well, shoot. I'm like, I can still maintain my pop punk roots. So I went back to the drawing board and started rewriting pop punk songs. And I was just going to release them under a new name, which that name was Lights Go Down. And in 2015, I released a 5-song EP called We Kept It Alive under Lights Go Down. Then I had a few friends to help me record it, and we released it, and I toured it for maybe three months. But I don't know, it was just different, man, to go from, living on a tour bus and having well catered meals and like living in hotels and just, kind of living the big life rather than like driving 16 hours in a van and trailer and like sleeping on the side of the road again. I'm like, going back to that after living on a bus was not really, I wasn't super excited about it. And so I was like, you know what, I don't think this is for me anymore. So I hung it up and moved back home. And yeah, but every once in a while, the idea to release new songs under Lights Go Down has always kind of struck me as something fun to do without having to tour. The power of the internet these days, you can put anything on the internet and people can find it. So that's what I'm doing now. Just kind of working on stuff, like I said earlier, working on it now, recording. All the drums have been recorded, working on bass and guitars now, and hope to get a single in the next couple months.
Brad, do you have anything you want to say or ask?
Yeah, I want to touch on one thing you mentioned, because the pop punk genre has definitely gone through a lot over the years. Like with Old Hawk Nelson, it was at its peak, I believe. Just so many amazing bands from Reliant K, Stellar Cart, and so many awesome ones. And then it seemed like it almost died out for a point. And now with bands like Abel Price and Friends, Grace Graber, Colony House, Stephen Stanley, the alternative rock, the pop punk's coming back in a way. So just curious, like, what are your thoughts on the pop punk genre in general, about it's died out and then came back up?
Yeah, I think I'd be a different person than probably the majority, because it never left me. Like, the same music I listened to when I was in high school, I still listen to today. My favorite band's been my favorite band since the 90s. It's like, I'm not too up to date on like any, like, I hear about current artists or whatever, and to be honest, I feel bad that I haven't really given them a chance, because I'm stuck in my ways. I have become my father in that sense, where I'm like, I thought the artists my dad listened to were like for like old people. Now I'm like, shoot, I am now that dad. And it's happened to me. But I love Grace Graber stuff. I've been able to listen to some of her stuff, and it's really cool. I love the energy. I love that it's female led. It's kind of like it's got a bit of an Avril vibe to it. Or even like Crystal Myers back in the day. She had some bangers, and it's cool to hear Grace doing that too. And I got to partner with her on a song on her album or her EP. And yeah, I'm stoked for her and what she's going to do too. She's going to be huge, so watch out.
Yeah, Grace is actually the one that recommended us to reach out to you. So that's how we are like, okay, we'll reach out to him, see what happens. And so that's how we reach out to you.
She's like, Jason's definitely not doing anything. Just call him.
She did say it that way. She's like, you should reach out to Jason. But I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. But anyway, if you had the chance to go back on the road and tour again, would you?
I always would say, like, my quick answer would be no, but I would just do it differently. Like, I'm married with 3 kids now. I'm a homebody. I'm not a recluse. I'm a borderline recluse. Like, I don't ever go out. Like, with the help of COVID, and the introduction of like Instacart and that kind of stuff, I haven't seen a grocery store in like 3 years, which I love. I hate grocery shopping, so that's kind of my vibe. I feel like I'm way more introverted than I probably ever was, and there's nothing wrong with that. To try to engage an audience, it's more work now than natural for me. I don't know why that's happening. It's just because I'm getting older. I can turn it on though, but it drains me for sure. I love being at home, putting my feet up with my kids and my wife.
Being at home is always the best place to be.
Yeah, if I was gonna go on the road, I wouldn't be going alone. I'd be bringing them with me. So,
yeah. Brad, do you have anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, like I would want to ask too about like you said, about family life, and that's amazing. I love that you're so passionate into that, because so many bands, it seems like they get so caught up in fame that they don't pour into their family. So like, I love that you're pouring into your family, but you're still doing music in that way. So like, what's it been like balancing out your family life, your personal life? Like you said, you're a worship leader, and then also with Lights Go Down and everything going on there.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good question because it's something that I want this to be what I'm known for. You know, I think when I was in Hawk Nelson, I was always like, what is my legacy? What am I going to leave behind? And I want my whole thing was like, I want people to remember me when I'm gone. Is like, oh yeah, this great front man, this powerhouse guy that can just, rock. That is what I wanted to be known for. Music was always first and foremost in every area of my life, and it ruined relationships, it ruined a lot of stuff, but music was my everything. Now music is it's a very small part of me. I mean, my job, my full-time job, I'm a worship director at a church here, as I said. But getting hired on, I'm like, just so you know, family is always first for me. That is my number one priority. My wife comes first, my kids come second, work third. So that's kind of been my process, and that's how it goes, and it works. Like for instance, if my family called right now, I'm like, sir, I gotta go. That is what I am known for now. And my legacy now is when I'm gone, I want to feel like he was a great dad, he was a great husband. I think he did music. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what he did, but that's it. So that's my new approach on life. And it's been my approach for, well, my kids are going to be, they're six this year, 6 and 4. And yeah, they're my everything. So Lights Go Down, it's way in the back. Like I've been working on these songs for probably 5 years. So that's kind of the pace I'm at. And I did say I'd like to have a single out in the next few months, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm not losing sleep over it. You know what I mean? So I do a lot of stuff locally. Just some guys from the church, we kind of do this little fun thing where we play locally. It's called Dunner. It was just started for St. Patty's Day last year. A restaurant owner in town asked if I could play. I said, sure. What's the name of the band? I don't have a name of the band. My nickname since I was in high school, everyone's called me Dunner. My last name is Dunn. So Dunner, you wanna do something? So he's called me Dunner. He's like, what's the name of the band? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, can we just go with Dunner? And I need to put something on the poster, bro. I'm like, let's go with Dunner. And so that's kind of my fun little thing. And I'm more active with that because I do it a lot. We play as much as we can. Like I run a worship rehearsal on Thursdays, and then after we'll take our guitars and go set up at a restaurant and play just for an hour, just for fun and whatever. There's no pressure, right? And people enjoy it, and it keeps us playing. It keeps our chops up, and it's fun. So, but like I said, I don't take anything musically serious anymore. Maybe I should, but yeah, family first, music second. That's my life.
Family should always be first, no matter the occasion. Like Brad and I both agreed when we started the podcast, that's one thing we would do. So
yeah. And my family appreciates it too.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to ask us while we have a few more minutes to?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for taking the time. Not too many people, they said, I think pre-record that. Nobody cares about me. It's okay. I'm not even offended by that. It's nice to be remembered. Letters of the President is 20 years old this year, so that's kind of it's a milestone, and it's weird. I do have hopes and dreams of re-recording Letters, not the full album, but at least the song. Just I don't know. It's just a good way to keep the song fresh,
Mm-hmm.
So I'll see what happens with that. I don't put the pressure on me, but that's what's going on in my brain, just spitting it out there.
Well, we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us in our sit down Zoom, whatever you want to call it, interview, whatever you want to call it. But we appreciate your time and thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm happy to do it, guys. Honestly, if you're ever stuck and you're like, who can we fill this gap with? Just call me. All right. I'll probably be sitting here again.
Brian, is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, just echoing what you said, like, thank you again, Jason. We're again amazed that you agreed to this, and we're so thankful talking with you. Love what you had to say, and we're excited for the future, man. All that God has in store for you.
Thanks, and likewise for you guys. I heard that your goal for number one to have is Jeremy Camp and Bart Millard. So I look forward to seeing those ones when they're on. Make sure you send me the link. So I look forward to that one. A double whammy.
It would be cool. That's our goal, but you never know what can happen. Just got to trust in God's plan for it.
Yeah, write it down, man. It'll happen. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Thanks everyone that
Guys.
thanks everyone that tuned in or did this video or podcast wherever you're listening. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe again. And I hope you guys all have a great week.